Have you heard of the new addition to the Go for Donny podcast? I haven't either, but it's called Switch to Channel 2. That is where Donny will get to ask his guests some questions so you, the listener, get to know them better. And remember, hashtag HTFU.
Hey guys, welcome back to Switch to Channel 2. We have Bo Stuart here, retired Lieutenant Colonel Bo Stuart, U.S. Army. Thanks for joining us and sticking around to have a little chatter here, Bo. So, about Switch to Channel 2 is, whenever we were on set, when you were on set, I don't think you had a walkie, but you weren't able to put it anywhere. But whenever we had chatter, we'd always switch back and switch to channel 2, and that's where we'd have a little chatter. And it seems like everyone else would always switch to channel 2 to listen in. So I thought this would be a fun little idea of a podcast, switch to channel 2, where we can just have a little chatter. So welcome back. It's good to see you. And just to recap, so everyone knows how we know each other, we worked on an episode of Naked and Afraid. When we say we worked on it together, I was there. I was a production manager. I was clothed. Bo was there. He was a contestant. He was not clothed at all. So I guess the first question, really, Bo, I've been wanting to know is why in the hell did you do Naked and Afraid? You're a very accomplished in your military career. What made you decide to do that?
Yeah, so my kids, when the first episode aired, one of my kids watched it, and they came upstairs and said, "Dad, you got to see this show." And I'm like, "Okay." So I watched the first episode. I'm like, "Oh, dude, I can totally do this." I'm like, "This is in my wheelhouse." Like, so I did that. Went to the website that night, the Discovery Channel, put in my application, and like the next morning, they called me at 9 o'clock and said, "Hey, we want to have you on the show." I was like, "Okay." And then it was about negotiating for time because like taking 20, I think in the end I probably took 25 days off from work, and you have to coordinate that ahead of time. The Army's not real fond
Yeah.
of letting people go for 25 days. So yeah, so there was we get to work out the timing, but yeah, once the timing worked out, then I was like, okay, I was like, we were able to pull it off. So,
I
but
mean,
it was a
it's just
challenge. Like
crazy.
the whole idea, I was like, I think that's where a lot of the contestants on there are like, I didn't have any like plan that was going to get famous or be on, or the TV part. I didn't care about. I was like, that's a challenge, and I want to try it. And that
Wow.
was the whole reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty ballsy of you, I will say, because I, how many episodes did I do? I think I did 5. I think I did 5 episodes of Naked and Afraid, and I did 5 episodes of Naked and Afraid clothed. So even doing one episode without clothes to me is just, I don't know, it's just almost insane. And just to recap again, I think we talked about it briefly. When I showed up down in Guyana where we were filming, when I got to set and met everyone and you, and immediately we got on because we talked about the Army because we were both Army vets. And I was so impressed, like I said before, of what you had there. I couldn't believe it because the other episodes that I did, not to take any away from those contestants, but they were not anywhere close to the caliber of Survivalist of you, to where you had to fashion a rack for all of your weapons, for all your spears, where I'd never seen that before. In the other 4 previous shows with the contestants, I mean, they were, still hurting to find water. So
Yeah,
it was very impressive seeing that.
yeah. Some of it was because I had a because I was season 4, episode 11, and so I had a lot of time. I watched every episode, up until I left for filming. So I was able to watch what other people were doing and say, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to
Smart.
steal that," or "That's a good idea. I'm going to take that one." Yeah, so there was an advantage there in that, and having the experience of watching so many other people do it as well. So.
Was there anything you were deathly afraid of doing that you saw one of the contestants doing that you didn't want to do, let alone on
Um,
camera and being I don't know, in special forces?
no, no. Well, the one I was a little worried about were the piranha because I was like, I'm gonna be wading through this lake and there's piranha in this lake, and if I get my junk bit off, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's a that's a concern. But then after you wait there for a while, and you're like, okay, I haven't been bitten or even nibbled. Like they're running from you. They're not. It's not like the movies where you see, someone sticks their foot in, it's like, and you're just going
Chainsaw
out.
it off.
It's not how it works. That they're afraid of you. So
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I don't know if I'd jump in anywhere with piranha. I mean, Jesus. So, so I've seen guys. I think you said you tanned before you went, so you made sure
yeah,
you had a base
yeah.
tan so you didn't get sunburn, right?
Which in the end, I don't think we probably would have needed because we had that canopy of trees over us the whole time, so the sun wasn't that bad. But one
Yeah.
of the episodes, one of the early ones, they got burnt so bad they had blisters and they could barely move, and I was like, okay, I just want to make sure I avoid that.
Yeah, F that. Or the I don't know if I talked about the chichin. Is it the chichin tree? I don't know if it's in Guyana, but in Central America, that thing is like one of the most poisonous things in the whole world. And just being close to it, the spores. I was just so close to it, the spores got onto my leg and got me, and it'll bubble up, and it's a pretty gnarly thing. But we had a couple of contestants that. Like I said, when you went through it. I mean, when you're water and sleep deprived and food deprived, I mean, you're just not thinking straight.
Yeah,
And they decided to set up their camp right next to the chichin tree. They also burnt some of the tree, burnt some of the wood, and not knowing, they decided, I mean, smartly, they were going to use ash to put it on their body to cover their body from the sun and protect them from bugs and stuff. Well, that ash had burnt chichin.
yeah,
Yeah, so they're oh man, when we got there, they were just so gnarly. Their bodies were red and blistery, and oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know if you were afraid of anything like that, or if any of the ribbing that you would get when you got back to your unit. You know,
Yeah, I mean, of course, the people were they were teasing me before I left. So when I came back, I knew it's gonna be, they're gonna be busting balls like you always do around the army. Soldiers they're
it,
always gonna do
was it even more so when you got back, or was it a little respect, or what was it more like? Shit, Bo,
that.
you actually did that. You're fucking nuts.
Yeah, there. Well, it was lots of congratulations. Actually, people were like, "Hey, man, you really made the regiment look good, and you depicted us
That's
well."
cool.
So that part's pretty good. So
That's really cool. Oh my gosh. Well, that's just crazy. You're still crazy. You're still crazy. You're still elite. And what you got like $4.30 out of it after taxes were taken out of whatever you got, probably. But you got
yeah,
that prestige.
no,
Did they
it
give?
wasn't. It definitely wasn't. You definitely don't do that for the money for sure. So
Did they even give you the satchel or anything like to say, hey, like here you
no,
go?
they will let you keep everything, but mine stunk so bad. I'm like, I'm not putting this in my luggage. Like, it smells like ass. I'm like, no, I don't need. I'm not bringing this home. They can keep all that shit.
You all definitely smelled like ass after. I mean, everyone just was so knackered, and the transformation, seeing what happens to your bodies, just from the weight, and then
Yeah, well, and
all the
you get that
bugs, and
you can get that protein burning smell when your body is burning your own flesh with energy. You have that stink about you. Just not it's not good.
God bless Naked and Afraid, and it's still going too, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what season they're on now, but they're up there. So
They're up there with Survivor, like episode, season 80, 87. So are you? So you're out of the military now. You're working for the government over there.
yeah, well,
And
I'm out as an active duty service member, but I still work for the army as a civilian. So
got it. Oh, okay, okay, okay. And how are you liking that? You
oh, I
like
love
the
it. Yeah,
transition?
I love it. I love it. Well, hopefully I don't get doged here any day now, but we'll see what happens. For now, I have a job. So
I mean, isn't it scary? I mean, you'd think with what's happening with all these cuts, that you'd be glad that you're just out of the active duty and you're not getting touched. But I mean, you're still getting, they're still slashing civilians, civilian workforce as well.
if they had let me stay in active duty longer, I would have. I was at my maximum that they let me stay in. The good thing was I stepped away for 4 years where I had nothing to do with the army. I was out. I taught high school for 2 years, and then I administered
That's
Medicaid
right.
in the state of Tennessee for an insurance company, and that gave me great perspective. And I was like, if I could ever return to the army, I would. And this job popped up that I was, well qualified for here in Italy, and I was like, I will jump at the chance and do it. So.
Oh man, that's so cool. I mean, I think we talked about this. I was just so immature when I was in, and when I got out, I just, I did it, and I just wanted to run for the hills. But I had a good time because I was stationed in D.C. In the honor guard, so I think
Yeah,
it felt like all we did is we trained. Maybe we did some parades, some funerals. We drank a shit ton of beer, and then we drank some more beer, and then we ran and trained, and it was just this vicious cycle of like,
it's the life of a soldier,
of
right there. You just wrap it up in a nutshell.
being a professional drunk, getting picked up at like 4:30 in the morning, with some old Hueys and flying down to Belvoir for some great training. Oh,
Yeah,
those are the
yeah,
days.
absolutely.
You know. So you got that. So what I'm sure you see them over there, but lately, this last couple of months, we've been having a lot of these drones and UAPs and orbs and all
Yeah,
this crazy shit. And there are some of your colleagues from your specialty in the army that have some shows and that are pretty into this, and I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I go down the rabbit hole sometimes. I don't think it's all fake, but I just want to know what your take on it, just from
I
just
mean,
you, and then
yeah,
you being in the military. If you maybe saw anything, or if you feel
yeah.
anything.
It is a growth industry. Like in Ukraine, the use of drones is through. I mean, like it was nothing like it was when I was in. I mean, yeah, we had drones, and for the most part, like we had overhead surveillance that are big government platforms. But now they're doing it with off the mark commercial, off the shelf drones. You can buy off of Amazon. Hook a bomb to it and go drop it on somebody. And
It's
they're doing
crazy.
it everywhere. And so those same lessons of people flying drones there are, they're not restricted just to Ukraine. So everybody's picking up a drone and flying around, doing whatever they want. Because it's so hard to regulate. How do you know? Yes, you say we want to regulate airspace, but trying to, enforce that is another whole thing entirely.
And isn't it crazy? These kids, I mean, I really wish. I remember, our parents telling us, stop playing video games. Get out and get an education and stop playing video games. And now you're like, man, these drone operators are these kids that are really good with their thumbs and
Yeah,
joysticks, and virtual reality. To where, I mean, we didn't have that, when
yeah,
we were
no,
kids. The Atari wasn't giving us any mobility for anything that they had in the military at that time. So it's kind of cool to see that there's a whole industry out there that you can transition into the military or out of it,
yeah.
and keep
I mean, there's a lot of
working.
applications to that skill set. I know when we were in Nashville before we moved here back to Italy, they had like at Christmas they had a whole drone light show. So it was like a couple hundred drones are all in the air at the same time, making these patterns and rearranging themselves as a Christmas tree or a snowman or animated things. And you're like, it's mind-boggling how fast that industry has gone, and that you can manipulate them so easily and collectively. Like in these huge because like when you have 100 drones in the air, you don't have 100 drone operators. They're not flying that. Like they're programmed to do this. Someone set it up and they all take off at the same
Yeah.
time and they do their show and whatever else. But yeah, possibilities are like endless, absolutely endless.
So what about all these new drones that have been popping up on the East Coast and everywhere,
Yeah,
that
I
seem to
mean,
be changing shape too?
yeah, I don't. I'm not sure I buy into that. I mean, people see what they want to see, um, and some of it's just a regular passenger plane. Some of it's somebody's legit flying a drone. But like as far as orbs and UFOs, and I'm not buying any of that. There's like here's the thing about conspiracy theories. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy at all, and the reason is very very simple. It's because humans cannot keep secrets. Like
No.
they can't do it. Like if two people know, it's going to get out. Like you can keep a secret if two people can keep a secret if one of them is dead. But other than that, like someone's got to run their yapper. Like every secret thing that we do in the United States, every classified unit. So SEAL Team Six, Delta Force, any of the other units out there. Everybody's got to go write their book and get their moment in the sun and let
Yeah.
everybody know that they worked on this secret thing. So like there are no secrets. Like if there are, it don't last very long because someone's going to write a book about it.
Or they're gonna have a podcast and talk
Yeah,
about it.
or yeah, they're going to post it on Reddit or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so
No,
yeah,
that's all.
I take all of that
That's
with a
all
grain
good
of salt.
points. That's all. That's all. Some really good points. So what about you know, you've had such a storied career in the military. Is there anything like any stories you can share with the audience that, you know, anything crazy that you dealt with that you saw that people might want to know? Because I mean, people. I mean, I don't know. People are fascinated by just the military alone, and then all these specialty units. You know,
Yeah, I
and
mean, I
anything
don't
that
really have
happens out
anything
there.
that
And
was
it's not Hollywoodized either. You know, I
no.
mean, I
Oh
know
yeah,
Hollywood.
it's the,
They throw a nice shine and big explosions and a bunch of bullshit on something that is so
it,
simple.
it
So
is so tough for me to watch war movies now. I'm just like it's ridiculous, and they're the ones that some of them are famous. What's the one the about the EOD tech? He's running around doing whatever he wants, blowing stuff up and going outside the wire. Outside, like none of that. You're like none of that shit never happened. Like it does not happen. It doesn't work that way. No one takes off their bomb suit to go work on a bomb like that. Doesn't
yeah.
you know?
Oh, the Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker. Oh yeah, that is, and it won so many awards. I think it is the absolute worst war movie. Like nothing. That was my war. I was there. I saw. Like I lived with the bomb techs who were working on that. That doesn't look anything like that. Like it's
Isn't that
complete horseshit. So
doesn't that just suck when they have to do that? I feel the same way. You know, well, I will say when I saw that the one about the take down the White House, like the White House down, or you know,
uh,
I was like, this is all bullshit. I'm like, they can never do this. This is all bullshit. This is all bullshit. And then after seeing recent events in the last few years, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that could happen.
yeah,
Maybe someone could easily jump the fence and bum rush them. But I will say for any train movies, like there was a Runaway Train movie with Denzel Washington that I watched and Chris Pine, and I couldn't stand it.
yeah,
It was such bullshit, you know. So when I watch shows or movies, when you have that knowledge about certain things, it just drives you crazy. It's like, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to fabricate so much?
yeah.
That's Hollywood, I guess.
And it's the same as reality TV. Like the producers, they're trying to make a compelling story. They do not care about accuracy at all because that's not their job. They're not making a documentary. They're making an entertaining movie, and so they have to do all those things to make it entertaining. And it's a shame because it takes away from the real life experience for people who are in those events and where they got to make it
Yeah.
like over the top.
Do you think are there any movies or shows that you think are really true that really
Yeah,
do show?
Restrepo. Like the movie Restrepo is, and it was about my unit, the 173rd in Afghanistan. I wasn't in the unit when they filmed that, but I got there right after that. But like that,
Restrepo?
Restrepo, yeah, it's a
Okay.
outpost in Vietnam or in Vietnam in Afghanistan, and it depicts and you see it because it's just two guys filming soldiers at war over 15-month period of time. Now they didn't stay the whole 15 months with them, but they came back multiple times,
Back and forth.
and so you get to know all the characters in that platoon and see them under fire, and how soldiers react to that. And the black humor, soldiers are, and Vietnam soldiers, and there's nothing is off limits
Yeah.
around other soldiers, and you see that it comes out and it's portrayed really well. I
Oh, I'll
think
have to
that's a
check that out. I like
much
that.
better
Okay.
representation than watching some of the terrible ones. Now, that said, like was Band of Brothers was a great obviously
Yeah.
really great show that I think hit that in Flags of Our
What
Fathers.
about
One is that they try to make it accurate much better. So,
yeah, and I think I mean yeah, it feels like a lot of the older ones they can be a little more accurate with than the newer age ones. Are there any documentaries out there that you think are really great at times? So, you know, I did Surviving the Cut, and then they also did 2 Weeks in Hell. So they did 2 Weeks in Hell first.
uh-huh.
That it was on Discovery, I think, and then we did the show Surviving the Cut, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sending crews out and being embedded with the different specialty schools. It was really cool to get a bird's eye view from that. Have you seen? Did you ever catch that?
I think I saw parts of it. I don't think I ever watched the whole thing, but yeah, and it's always good to get a good capture of, of what it's really like, and because people, the myth that surrounds like special units and stuff, you know, make it tend to be like it's unbelievable. It's like, and these schools are hard. I've done most of them,
Yeah.
but they're not impossible. These people aren't people who are doing these things. They're not superhumans. They're still regular human beings. And, but it's just that the myth that comes with it often obscures the reality of the event. So,
Can you ramble off some of the schools you've gone to, just so I know, because
I mean, airborne
so I can
school,
hear.
ranger school, Halo school, the Q course, Seer school. Um, that's about it. But yeah, and like I said, they all have some of them are harder than others, and some of them are more useful than others. And it's just uh, I don't know. It's interesting, and it's good to build skill set and go to those schools and improve yourself as a soldier. Um, but yeah, sometimes people get too focused on that. Like I will say air assault school, which is one of the earliest ones I went to. I think I went to airborne school,
Air assault.
and then I went to air assault after ranger school. And I remember being there, and I was like, "What's the point of like? Okay, we're sliding down the rope out of a helicopter. I got it. Rigging up bags for stuff to get carried around, and then going on a road march." I was like, "Does this school really need to be 10 days long? We could probably done this in 2 days." But it's the army. Everything's going to take long. So,
Air assault. Where'd you go? Where'd you air assault?
Schofield Barracks, Hawaii.
Schofield. So Schofield Barracks is where I first signed up to go to. That was my first infantry unit.
Okay.
And I was going cohort with my buddy, Mark Samuel, rest in peace, buddy. We were going cohort, and we were both wrestlers. I wrestled 168. He was our heavyweight. And we decided, hey, we're dipshits. Let's go join the army. Let's do it together. Hey, let's go to Hawaii together. So we were going to go through everything, it was going to be great. And then the Marines got a hold of him. And then he changed his orders late in the game, and he went to the Marines. And then I was going to Schofield when I went to Fort Benning for basic and AIT, and that's where I got recruited to go to the honor guard. So I really wish I would have went to Schofield to check it out. But
yeah, it's a great place. I grew up there as a kid. My dad was stationed there when he was in the army, so I think from fourth to sixth grade, I lived there. It's great place to grow up as a kid, run around in the jungle, and build. Same thing I did Naked and Afraid. That's I just had clothes on. I was a little kid. So.
That's how you got your chops right there, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So, do you think that there's any, there's always reality shows about everything. Do you feel there's anything that did the Army, or any special units any justice? I mean, I know they have their special forces one filming now.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, mainly because I don't watch them. Because I'm like, I don't need a show to tell me what it is. I went there. So.
You lived it, bro. Yeah, you're like, I don't need some show. Yeah.
Some of it's second because it's not sexy to film. So like special forces definitely selection. I know they had it 2 weeks on it, but like they're not going to have somebody follow you around in the woods for 6 hours at night filming nothing, but you cussing because you're getting poked in the eye with branches or whatever. Like that's not sexy, or it's not it doesn't make for good TV. But that makes up a good portion of the special forces selection course, right? You're by yourself navigating through the woods with a time standard and trying to get to places day and night. But I said that's not that, and I think probably the other part why you probably don't see as many shows, particularly about U.S. Special Forces training, and you see it all the time with SEALs because SEALs do all theirs and like all of their whole selection, Hell Week, everything else is in a very small area. Like it's the size of a couple football fields. There's the oceans there. They got an obstacle course. Maybe they go out and swim to an island and come back. But it's very concentrated, super easy to film. They're always all together. They don't do anything alone. They're always doing it in a team, which for me and when you're in Ranger School, that's the way it is as well. You're always in a group, in a squad or a platoon or something. Um, and so you can take energy from other people, like you look over and you're like, I'm sucking, but he's sucking more than me. I can make it longer than him. But that gives you a little bit of gas that you're like, okay, yeah, I can make it. I can do this. But when you're by yourself, there's nothing. You're just in the woods and you got this heavy rucksack on your back and you're exhausted and you got lost because you don't know where you're at. You're like, okay, I'm going to be late for this next point. Like that's when the pressure really starts to build up because there's no one to take energy from or to watch and say, oh, I can go harder than that guy can. So that's why to me it's hard to keep up your motivation by yourself. And there's several other, like Delta Force does their selection the same way. Like you're by yourself the whole time. There's no one to lean on. You're not going to have somebody cheer you on or take energy from somebody else because it's just you. And I think that makes for a different kind of product for selection. Like at the end of the SEALs selection, you get a different product. At the end of Special Forces selection for the Army, you get a different product. They're similar. You get tough guys and guys who can endure and they're in shape and all of those things. But the the real premise of what you're looking for is slightly different. So
It all comes from within. Yeah, the individual soldier. That's pretty good. Hey, that's some good insight that I didn't know. Thanks for the insight, Bo.
yeah, no,
Hey, have you ever done anything? So I come from the car world, Top Gear. Love cars. I like driving fast. I like doing stupid shit with cars. Hi, Hudson, and my dog's here. Have you ever gotten to do any evasive driving in the military? We got
yeah.
to go down to Quantico to, or the FBI. FBI have a defensive driving course there that we got to
Yeah,
go through. But
I've
have
been to
you
two
gotten to do
different.
any of that?
Yeah. I went to Bill Scott Racing. He runs a course. We were training up for. We were doing a mission in South America where my guys were going to be out for like 9 months, and they're going to be going around in civilian SUVs, not in army vehicles. And so we're like, hey, let's go to this Bill Scott Racing at a course where they do off road driving in SUVs. And so that was fun. It was a ton of fun. We got to go out there and learn how to inflate a tire with hairspray and a lighter, which that was pretty cool.
Oh
And then
yeah.
and how to lower a car. Like the whole car was the class was done in like Jeep Cherokees, and you had one Cherokee out in front and chained up to another one, and then you lowered him down off the cliff. So you
I
couldn't
see what
drive
you're
down,
saying,
but
helping each other down.
you could lower one down, and the other guy's but he can't follow. But it was really interesting. And then just getting things unstuck, how to use the jack, the high lift jack, and all that stuff. So yeah, that was fun. And then at Blackwater, I did another class, mobile force protection, where we were driving around a serpentine track with 4 cars. So we had to have all 4 cars had to be touching. So you picture 1, 2, 3 cars and then one back.
And lined up in a row.
Yeah.
So
And then,
bumper, what is it? Is ass to elbow? No, what
yeah,
do they call it? Ass to elbows.
like door to door.
Yeah.
I mean, practically.
Okay, door to door.
Yeah, practically touching. And then the one in the back, the 4th one, had to stay on the bumper of the person in front of you. And then we drove this. We did it in the daytime. Then the most interesting part. We did it at night with nods, so no lights on, just with your night vision goggles. And that was high adventure. Trying to and you going around the track, and they're like, "All right, change." And then the one in the back had to pull forward, and the one on the top of the L had to come and get back in that position. And so there's lots of rubbing is racing kind of thing where you're like, whoop, just crunch the door panel, so that was fun. And then how to pick people or how you take the person down in front of you by, and you don't ram. It's not like it is on TV. It's really gentle. You come up and put it on there and slowly come over and spit them out. So yeah, that was fun.
I love
Those are the
that
days
kind
that
of
you're
shit.
like, I can't believe the Army's paying me to do this.
And so that's kind of what we did on Top Gear, like day in and day out on Top Gear.
Yeah.
There's stupid shit that we got to do. That's one of the reasons that this whole podcast came about, is because all the stupid shit that we got to do and all the stories that we told about and all the stupid shit we got to do. So I'd always show up to set, and if the hosts weren't there, they would chuck myself and another producer or two in some vehicles, and we would do a lot of driving. And so, you get to do some stupid shit like drifting a 35-foot motorhome around a dirt track in North Carolina, while the other hosts are in these homemade RVs drifting around their cars too, hitting each other. But it teaches you, it shows you what a car can do,
Yeah.
and how you can feel it. So when you're bumping, you know what it feels like. You know when it's going to cut loose, when it's not. And I think it's just good training, which,
Yeah.
we didn't get that in the infantry. I don't think they
Yeah.
did a lot of that training in the motor pool either, back in the day.
No, no. I remember one of the really cool things we did one time, and this was just a shooting course that I had done on Bragg, um, where we had a car and it was like a Ford LTD or whatever, and they had it running, and and we had our whole class lined up, and it was like 40 of us or whatever, and they're like, all right, and we all had our M4s. They're like, hey, how many shots do you think it'll take to disable this car? People were like, oh, 5, 10, whatever it was. It took 27, and
Whew.
and everybody would go up there and take their own shot. Some guys were shooting at the engine. Some guys were shooting at the gas tank, and, and at the end of the 27 shots, it was leaking gas, it was leaking radiator fluid, everything, but it was still running. It was still running. It finally stopped running. The only reason that it stopped running is because one of the shots of the 27 hit the fuel line, and the engine just wasn't getting fuel anymore. But
Wow.
it took all that shooting and just kept on going. So that part was, and then that was perfect. It was before a rotation going to Iraq, and it was like, okay, so when you think I'm going to fire 10 shots at this car and it's going to stop, it's not. Like, you're not going to kill the car. You're going to kill the driver.
Wow, that's invaluable information. So did you guys learn? I mean, what did you learn? The driver? That's how
Yeah,
you disable the car?
shoot the driver. Like, shooting at the car is not. It's not going to benefit you. You shoot the driver.
Man. All right, that's good to know. That's so cool that you guys learned that, but so invaluable. I mean, I'm sure you get in situations like that, like even driving and shooting from car to car.
Yeah,
We call
and
shooting car to car with cameras, not guns,
yeah.
but
Well, and the cars are no protection against bullets. I mean, none. Like, with a pistol bullet, it'll go through both sides of the car and keep on going with no problem. Like, it hit the glass through the metal, nothing. And a rifle bullet, oh yeah, it's straight through. The only protection on a car is the engine block itself, if you can hide behind that, or at the axles, like right in the middle of the axle, because it'll still just a tire, it'll go straight through. The rim,
jeez,
it'll go straight through. But if you hit the
wow.
axle and the brake and everything else, that will shield it a little bit. But yeah, it's not like it is on TV. People hiding behind cars and bullets ricocheting off. No, they're not. They're going straight through and getting you. So if
Man,
somebody's
that's
hiding
good to
behind a
know.
car,
That's
just shoot where they are. It'll go straight to the car and get them.
so did you guys do real life? I mean, I assume you did kind of real life situation training for just about everything. Because if you don't, how are you going to know, right?
Yeah, we they used to. When I first came in, I was in the Q course, and this was competence inspiring. So when the medics go through the course, as an officer, you spend a little bit of time watching everybody's training and all the other special forces specialties. And one of the most memorable training is when we went out to the medics training, and they have what used to be called the goat lab, and they anesthetize a goat, and then they shoot it, and they give it some injuries, and then go set it up in the woods, and then they call the medic. The medic comes over and he has to save the goat, and it
Jeez.
is confidence inspiring to like, and we were there as to be an extra set of hands to help them, just hand them stuff and do whatever they wanted to do, or put pressure on a wound, and that built so much confidence in me on our medics because they're so good, and they've done this rotation so many times. They've seen every injury. They've seen airways shot, arteries shot out, broken legs, broken arms, burns, like you name it, and they've done it on live tissue, like not a simulation. And dummies are great, and all those, that's good training, but there's nothing like trying to save a living thing that's living and breathing. It's super confidence inspiring. So,
Wow. You don't think about that. I mean, and God bless all those medics, those combat medics that can detach themselves emotionally and keep moving forward. I mean, that's hard for any soldier, but I mean, I think anyone in the medical field, especially, you have to be a different breed because you're seeing the fucking worst of the worst, and you're having to
Yeah,
deal with it hands on, in a timely manner too, and you have no time to, you don't have no time for emotion, you know. Um, so it's a different breed of person, I think, that let alone to be in a combat unit such as yours,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
because they're also SF trained. They're not just medics, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, they still have to do all the other things. They still have to move, shoot, and communicate, and do all the other. And on a special forces team, everyone has their specialty, but you still have to get good at all the other skills as well. So
I love that you just said shoot, move, and communicate. Man, I just had so many memories just flash back so quick like that. Uh,
yeah, I mean, that's soldier basics, and everybody like that's the at the heart of what we do. That's it. Like if you can do that thing, you'll be fine. Just be good at the basics. So like
I,
people think that it's all these advanced super skills that are come in handy. It is shoot, move, and communicate. If you do that and you do it well, you'll be fine.
I,
You will figure the situation out.
I love that, but I'll say something like that, around some non-military people, and they're just like, "What the fuck did you just say? Like, what does that mean?" You're like, "Oh, you don't get it. You don't get bracing the suck. All these
Yeah.
little things that only a few select of us actually know about." Man, that's so cool. So you're over in Italy? Are you becoming more of a footy fan now that you're there? And if so, what team are you supporting?
It's funny. I don't really follow sports at all, with the exception of the UFC. So I'm a huge MMA fan. But that's like other than that, I don't watch any other sports. So
You're
not
living
football,
in
basketball,
Italy.
nothing.
Oh, Bo. I I'm a huge soccer fanatic. Soccer and F1, Formula One,
Yeah.
Ferrari, La Ferrari,
Well, I take that
and
back. I am a Women's World Cup fan. Uh,
ooh, okay, okay. They
so
just
my wife and I went to the Women's World Cup, and we were able to watch this year, so it was great.
I love it. I used to coach. I coached high school girls soccer, varsity soccer, and club soccer back in the day, and loved it. I miss it, and yeah, the women watching the women play are amazing. One of my good friends, Jacob Tudela, he has a soccer club out here in the Valley in Los Angeles, and he has a couple of players, young players, Sophia Smith, I think, that have come through his team and are playing for the U.S. team now. So it's really exciting to see because these kids are just, they're freaking amazing, and
Yeah,
women. I think women's soccer was number two for concussions right after football because of how they just really go all in. Women go
yeah.
all in when they're playing. I mean, it's great to watch. Man, I can't believe you're not a footy fan. I was getting excited because I watch soccer, all the time, and we have some really good American players that are playing in Italy right now. Captain America, Christian Pulisic, he's playing for AC Milan. So it's Timothy Way plays for
Yeah.
them, and then I think Musa and McKinney play for Juve. So it's really fun to watch on weekends. Watch all these Americans play, and that let alone in Europe is too.
Yeah,
So
like some of
and
the things about soccer frustrates me because like, I don't like it that somebody doesn't win. Like for me in a sport, somebody has to be the winner. And at the end of 90 minutes or 100 minutes or 110, if no one's won, just keep playing. Someone's going to win. Like I don't know how we allow games to end in a tie. It's a sport. You play until somebody wins. So
yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I want I want some winners as well because the draws are so hard to watch. But man, I tell you, after man playing that long, boy, it's these guys are elite athletes, and just anyone having to play, that long in any sport, especially soccer,
yeah,
is just. And then going to penalties after when your legs are
yeah.
jelly and you're trying to even walk, let alone put the ball in the back of the net with some 6'8" keeper.
Oh, and I don't like the offsides rule. It seems to be the most worthless rule in sports. Like, fine, if they want to park a bunch of their guys down there by the goal, who cares? and like so many goals get called back because of that rule. I'm just like, just take the
Yeah.
rule away and let them play. Like, what
Yeah.
are we doing? You know?
It would flow. It would flow even more, and with they have VAR, video assistant referee, that slows the game down a lot, and it's usually never right as it is. Um, but I mean, I can go from watching soccer right to Formula One, back to watching soccer in the afternoons. So
Oh,
I love the sport, especially Formula One. Ferrari. It's coming up here in a week, couple weeks. They start. Oh, you're gonna start hearing some loud engines there with Lewis Hamilton running around Italy.
all right, all right. I'll keep my eyes peeled.
So, so you're in Italy. So what do you think is next for you, for Bo Stewart? Are you gonna stick around Italy, stay with the government? Is there anything else on the
Um,
horizon for you?
yeah, I know. We'll see. We'll see. I like to stay here, for a couple of years at least. So, yeah, but I love living in Europe. That's one of the reasons why I took the job here. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't have a master plan. I don't have a place that I absolutely want to retire, with the exception of Spain. I could do. I'm kind of narrowing it down where in Spain I want to go. But yeah, I think I'm still getting my wife on board. And another couple trips, so I think I'll have her on the hook.
I heard Portugal is pretty nice as well.
I've been to Lisbon once, and we loved Lisbon as well. So
I'm so excited for you guys about being over there. And that's one thing I really kicked myself. Once again, I was so immature when I was in the military. And back then, you really didn't make much as an enlisted soldier. So it wasn't as easy to just pick up and travel around. And I really wish I would have taken advantage of being on the East Coast and going to Europe, or, I did up and down the East Coast in the States, but I really wish I would have traveled abroad and took advantage of that. So
yeah,
it's so
it's a
awesome you
lot
guys are
easier to
doing that.
travel here because Europe's so much smaller. Like, I mean, you know, and they have a lot more discount airlines. It's much cheaper to travel here than it is to travel in the U.S. So,
Yeah, you can drive 7 hours and get somewhere, where
oh yeah,
you
in
drive
7 hours you can be in
7 hours
3 days.
here, you're
So,
you're almost somewhere and you're still in the desert.
right, exactly. So,
But it's so cool. I love that you're taking advantage of everything over there. You're skiing, you're going to the Alps skiing as well, it looks
yep,
like,
yep.
right?
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Well, you keep fighting the good fight for us Americans over here that don't get to live over in Italy. But if you ever hear any jobs coming up, let me know. I'm all for it, Bo.
All right.
But but hey, I can't thank you enough for taking the time again. I know we had a little Wi-Fi issue after we filmed our last show, and now here we are again, a little stubble and a little longer hair, but we made it work. So, but hey, thanks, Bo. Guys, don't forget to check out Bo on Go for Donny. On my YouTube channel at Go for Donny. You can also come to my website at gofordonny.com and check out all my cool swag that I have. I'm wearing my hat right now. We have some blue and white ones. Got to crank that out, and we got some fun little sticker swag too. Something to throw on your Pelican case, or there we go. Get it the walkie. Go for me. Yeah, check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bo Stewart, thanks for coming, man. I really
all right.
appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be here. All right,
All
see
right,
you
man.
later.
Take it easy.
Bye,
Cheers.
bud.
Production for Donny.
Go for Donny. Locations for Donny. Go for Donny.
Habitat for Donny.
Go for Donny.
Hey, Donny, what the hell are they doing?